And they always say the customer's always right, right? No, they're not. Sometimes the customers are nuts and they're totally wrong and they're not right.
Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can? Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast. Spring is upon us, and it might be time to do some spring cleaning. In fact, we just had our house professionally cleaned for the first time ever, which is ironic because I had a cleaning company for 10 years. I also got my first window cleaning quote on our new house, which was so weird because I've never had that done either. It's actually been really, really cool. And we hired this local company called Clean Queens. Shout out to you if you're listening. And they just crushed it. They did so good. The house that we bought, that family had 6 kids. We have 5 kids. And it just had never had that like legit professional deep clean all the way through. And it was amazing. But what I want to talk about today is doing some spring cleaning with your book of business. So when you're starting out in business, every client is created equal in your mind, right? Like you just need money. You need to be able to buy groceries and survive. And when you get a call, you're excited and you'll do anything to get that job oftentimes. And I remember many times over the years when we were small, I remember going to do a bid or networking or meeting someone who wanted a quote for something or showing up to a residential estimate, right? And I'm in like within minutes, you get that weird feeling in your stomach where you just kind of know that you need to run. Like before you even get to the quote, they're just asking all kinds of crazy questions. And you have that weird feeling that they're just going to be a nut job or they're going to waste your time or they're going to stand over your shoulder. I remember one job I did one time. The lady literally stood a foot behind me the entire job for like 3+ hours, literally the whole time staring at me, watching me clean every single window. And this was when it was just me, I think, or maybe I had one part-time employee. What a nightmare. I mean, it was not only like humiliating and degrading, but it was just stressful, right? And that lady who stood a foot behind me, I did a great job for her. I had a great attitude. I did all the work, right? And I'm there like going even slower than normal, making sure it's perfect because she's right behind me. At the end, I say, my normal script, which I don't know how polished it was in the early days, but I still had one where I'd offer a walk around just to make sure everything looks good, that she's happy. And then she pays me, right? So I leave, I get home, and it's dark. I had a long day that day. The lady calls me back and says, yeah, I think you missed this one window. I need you to come back. I couldn't believe it, right? She was with me the whole time. I didn't miss any windows. She insisted I had to come back. And I said, all right, I'll be right back there tonight. And she's like, oh, no, it doesn't have to be tonight. I said, oh, no, I'm coming right now. And this was 45 minutes from my house, and I had gotten all the way home by the time that she called. It was already dark when I got home. I was so mad. I drove all the way back down there, did whatever window it was that she said I needed to do, and left, and I fired that customer. I never went back, right? And I think with spring cleaning, I was talking about cleaning my house. I'm talking about cleaning your client list. We also have a really cool story I've shared before, but it's been a while. We had a day in my company where we literally fired a whole bunch of customers at one time. And you think about firing your employees. Well, guess what? Some of you need to fire some of your customers. And I want to be that voice that gives you the courage to actually do it and set yourself free. Because you didn't start your company to be a slave or be held hostage by some wacko nut job customer. And they always say the customer's always right, right? No, they're not. Sometimes the customers are nuts and they're totally wrong and they're not right. And you can still be professional and friendly and high level with this, but you need to ask yourself, who are your most profitable customers and how do you find more people like that? You need to build an avatar for yourself, a customer avatar. Inside of Russell's Inner Circle, they go so far with this, it's crazy. They actually get out like a picture, they pull like an actual image, they have names for the different avatars, meaning who is your ideal perfect customer? And it's what's really cool about building an avatar is you can write all of your copy and you can do everything that you do as if you're talking to that one person. So if your ideal customer is a female between the ages of 45 and 55, and she has, 3 teenage kids or they're in college or something, we need to name her, Mary Smith. She's this age. She has this much income. She lives in a house that's worth about this much. This is her family situation. This is her her view on the world, right? And what's cool is when you make that, it makes it a lot easier to identify people that don't fit that. And it's not like you have to turn down work from a young man that would call you and want you to hire them, but it gives you more clarity on who you can serve at the highest level and who's going to love your services the most. Who is, based on your company's personality and brand and style, who can you blow their mind the most, right? Who resonates with you the most? And you can figure this out by going back and looking at your favorite clients. You can just do an export out of your CRM or wherever you have your client list and just look at them, and you're going to smile when you see certain names, right? And I think that's really cool. And it's awesome to have a business that's full of clients that you actually want to hang out with. People that have some grace with you if there's a mistake, because they know that you're going to sprint back towards that problem and fix it. But at the same time, you can deliver high service because they're willing to pay for that service. They're not going to beat you up on the price and nickel and dime you every 5 seconds. They're not going to complain. Some people are just complainers. You can't make everybody happy. We already all know that. But we still get so stressed when it happens, right? I mean, the best people in the world at whatever they do have a hater somewhere. They just do. They have a hater somewhere. So it's okay if you have some, but let's do some surgery on your customer list. Let's gut out some of the people we need to fire. So anyway, back to my company. We had been doing a bunch of small commercial accounts that really didn't fit or align with our vision of where we were going. And they were just a pain in the butt. They weren't profitable. I had them for years because, the accounts you get in your first few years aren't nearly as profitable as the ones that you're selling today, right? Because now you know more stuff. Now you listen to this podcast. Now you've went deep into the business side, but you still kind of drag these original accounts along with you because you feel bad. And it's not like you want to punish the people that help support getting you going. But if you have accounts that are dragging you down, some of these accounts as well, if you have employees, are killing your employee morale. They're just killing the morale. Some people are such a nightmare. It can ruin your employee's whole day to have to go deal with one of those wackos, right? So it's actually risky to not consider this a little bit. So what we did is we made a list of all these people. We built a script, and I had our office manager and our ops manager call all these people and let them go. It was really funny because they had been paying really low prices for a long time and would beat us up and would complain about this and complain about that. And we called them. We're like, I can't remember the exact script, so I'm not going to pretend like I remember it exactly, but it was something along the lines of, hey, John, it's Josh over at Birds Beware. Listen, we've been servicing you for 2 or 3 years. And this account that we do for you, it's just not a good fit with our company. We're going to have to let you go as a client. But I can give you some recommendations of some other companies. If you want, I can email them over. Do you have any questions for me? Something like that. And it's hilarious. So this is called, in sales, this is called the takeaway. And this is kind of its own other podcast topic, but I'll just explain the takeaway. The takeaway is really powerful. So if you go to do a bid, and someone is really going down the road of trying to beat you up on price or something like that, you can use the takeaway. Because what happens is the moment that you tell somebody that they can't have something, they want it even more, right? So it's crazy, but we're all like this. So when we fired these clients, they all of a sudden were deeply in love with us and would do anything to keep us, right? And we still fired them. We didn't want them, but it drove them crazy. It made them mad. They're like, how dare you break up with me? Have you guys ever seen, there's a video on YouTube where this guy sits down with his girlfriend, or no, the girlfriend sits down with the guy, right? And she sits down and you can tell she's about to break up with him. She's like, Randy, we need to talk. And they sit down, she puts her hand on his knee and she's about to say, I break up with you. But right before she says it, the guy says, I break up with you. And the girl's like, no, wait, what? You can't break up with me. I was just about to break up with you. He's like, well, I broke up with you first, so you're going to have to tell your friends to break up with you. Sorry about that. It was like the preemptive breakup. It was hilarious. Sorry, that was a distraction. But that's what happened when we fired these clients. is we're like, yeah, it's not a good fit. We're going to have to let you go. And they're like, well, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. So first they're like mad. And then we're like, yeah, it's just kind of not the direction we're going. It's not efficient for us. It's not a profitable endeavor and blah, blah. And then they go from anger to begging, right? That's what the takeaway is. So if you're doing a bid, for example, yeah, I would do a bid and it's like, okay, it's, here's the package and this and that. And I do my pony show and I'm pitching the packages to them and it's $500. Which one works best for you, Mr. Jones, right? And Mr. Jones is this A-type personality that thinks he can bully me and steamroll us on our price, right? He's just one of those people that has to feel like he wins or else he doesn't want to do it, right? So he's like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $400. As if it's a negotiable thing, as if I've implied in any way, which I had not, that our pricing was going to be dictated or determined by him, which it would not, and nor should it ever be. And if you're running your business like that, it's really bad, not only for your self-esteem, but you're just not in control at all. It means you don't know your numbers, and it makes you look really bad, really, really low level and unprofessional. So he says, I'll tell you what, I'll do it for $400. I said, and so the takeaway is something like this. Oh, Mr. Jones, I'm so sorry. I must have not made things clear. First of all, we provide a very high level of service to our clients. We're a luxury service provider. None of our pricing is negotiable, flexible, or anything like that. And actually, as I'm looking at my schedule, I'm not sure that we can get to your job for about 3 weeks anyway. I'm not sure if that's going to even work for you. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, so now what I've done is I firmly established myself as a professional, and kept my professionalism intact. No, it's not ego. It's what is it? Your pride, like the pride of your company. Like you started a business, you get to determine your pricing. You get to shape and share. Or you get to share the value and the structure of your offer to them in a way where hopefully they see the value. But if they don't see that value, you don't lower your price. Only thing you should do is reduce services. So, $400? Absolutely. Well, we can take off all the lakeside windows off of there and then not do the ones here, here, and here, and that would bring the price down to $400. What works best for you, mornings or afternoons? Something like that, right? But even going further, the takeaway is where you make them think, man, I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to get to this. And what happens when you do that is a slight shock where they're like, oh my God, this guy stood up for himself. And they're kind of mad, irritated, but then they instantly switch into that, well, wait, I might not be able to have this? Wait, I might not be able to have this anymore? And then they want it even more. So it fixes it. But I don't know. I thought that was solid advice. I want to encourage you guys this spring to find your crazy clients, highlight them with a highlighter, get them on the phone, and let them go. It's okay to say no. It's okay to trust your gut. If you get to some weirdo's house and they're just, you can tell you got that weird, itchy, tingly feeling in your stomach, either walk away or price it so high with a deposit required up front that when you get there, even if they are crazy, you'll have a smile on your face the whole time that you're doing work for them. And build a customer avatar, right? And train your team, your sales team, if you have them, on warning signs, people that complain, people that are continuously asking, price questions before you even get there and talk to them, right? Like, how do you identify people that are not a good fit for you? That's it. I hope that's valuable to you. I hope you crush this year, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.